ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ So we'll first see the introduction of Bhagavad Gita. So every human being in his or her life is busy pursuing varieties of the goals, and in that there are two types of goals. Few goals are short-term goals and some other goals are long-term goals. And throughout the lives, people remain busy in pursuing this kind of goals. And goals always vary from person to person. While one struggles to marry, other wants to get rid of the married one. One wants to get, one wants to get the house, other wants to, sell the house, buy the house and sell the house. So goals are different, opposite also. And sometimes he himself revises the goals also. Everything is possible. And it also differs from age to age also. In last century, in 19th century, our children have never asked for any computer games. Now they are asking in this age. So from age to age, person to person, time to time, season to season, these goals vary. And if you look closely, we can find that there are only three types of goals. It looks that they are infinite, but actually there are only three kinds of goals, which do not change with respect to time, it doesn't change with respect to age, it doesn't change with respect to season, and therefore these three goals are common for human being as well as living beings also. Only thing is these goals are instinctive in other living beings, and in a human being they are well refined. What are these goals? So first one is a security, and this is a foremost. Security is the first thing, and the desire for security is a survival, and consequent desire for food and shelter, because that provides a security, and that is universal. But in human being it is very much refined, in as much as his security, means of securities include a lot of other things which animals do not include. It covers insurance, let's say. Insurance is meant for security, and every type of insurance, including a car insurance, a house insurance, or any kind of insurance, even throat insurance. The musicians have and even the football player has that leg insurance. So these are all meant for security, very well refined for a human being. And so any kind of a insurance is a version of a desire for security. This is a one thing, first goal. Second one is a peace, shantihi. First is a security, second one is a shantihi. And for that goal also, he applies varieties of the means going from one place to other and all that in search of peace. The third thing is happiness, sukham, fulfillment. So all human beings are basically running after these three goals through varieties of the means. And for security, if you want to enlist, there are, I can tell you that, the status, relationship, then real estate, wealth, gold, shares, antiques. Antiques also meant for security. And position, knowledge. We feel knowledge people are seeking for sake of security. If you are working in some organization and of course you want to, sustain your job, sometimes you are required to enhance your knowledge, to enhance your skills. Otherwise you can't survive in the organization. So it's meant for security. So knowledge can be meant for happiness also. It can be meant for security also. So, the means of seeking security are endless, but the end is universal, called security as such. Similarly, peace also, there are varieties of the means but to gain the peace, but the end is just this thing. Goal is only shantihi. So it seems two soldiers were, talking about joining an army. And one soldier said, I am not married and I love war. So I joined the army. The other soldier said, I am married, I love peace, and therefore I joined the army. So my point is, to gain peace, there are varieties of the means, but the goal is one. For both the people, the goal is one only, for seeking security or peace. So different people seek different methods in search of peace. But these fundamental goals for humanity remains the same, and that is sukham, shantihi, salamati, security and peace and happiness. And with respect to this, these goals have actually been, identified by the scriptures. Human being cannot identify. If you tell any person that in your life only you are seeking these three things, he would not immediately agree. He has to think over. So these goals have been told by the scriptures. And scriptures make a very strong statement also about this. It says that these goals are available within ourselves only. Centered on the self. And not only that, it says these goals are available only centered on the self. Outside they are not available. And how can you say, how Shastra can say that, the security, peace and happiness is just centered on the self? Atma is something which is secure, Atma is something which is peace, or Atma is something called happiness. How can you say so? It doesn't look like, but it is true. In as much as you should ask a question either to yourself, to somebody, then you will come to know this. Like the first thing is, let us say, a security, right? Security, if I ask a question to a human being, when do you want to become secure? What will he answer? What will he answer? You can guess. Today, right now. Okay, right now I can make you secure. What about tomorrow? Tomorrow, suppose if you become insecure, will it be okay? No. Day after tomorrow, after a year, whole life, every moment, one wants to be secure. That's one thing. And so when do you want to be secure? He says all the time. Where do you want to be secure? In ashram or outside ashram, in this country or that country, everywhere, right? At all the time, at all the places, under all the conditions. Whatever may be the condition of my life, but I want to be secure person. Please keep this thing in the mind. Then second thing is Shanti, peace. Is also the same thing, right? Is also same thing. Same question can be asked. When do you want to be peaceful? He said all the time. Where do you want to be peaceful? Everywhere. In home, outside the home, in office, everywhere I want to be peaceful. And third thing is happiness. When do you want to be happy? He says, I mean, in all the moments, today, tomorrow, every time I want to be happy. At all the places. In the home also I want to be happy, outside also I want to be happy, everywhere. Under all conditions also I want to be happy. And this is a very peculiar situation, peculiar desire a human being has. To understand that, the example is given of a sugar crystal. You know the sugar crystal example? Pujya Swamiji's example it is actually. And the sugar crystal, when a human being has a human mind in a sugar crystal, think of that way. That a human, in a sugar crystal you fix up a human mind. Immediately it reacted. What? I want to be sweet. It was a sweet. But once a human mind is fixed into it, that he has a self-judgment now. Right? He has a self-judgment. What is the judgment? That I am a bitter and I want to be sweet. Now I ask the same questions which I asked before. That when do you want to be sweet? It says at all the time I want to be sweet. Where do you want to be sweet? In Dibba, outside the Dibba? Or where? It says everywhere I want to be sweet. Under which conditions you want to be sweet? When you are connected with the salt, when you are connected with the chili powder, or when you are connected with the turmeric powder. No, it says under all conditions I want to be sweet. Then I tell sugar crystal, you are asking something very peculiar. You know what are you asking? You are asking your nature. You are in search of your own nature. Unless you are sweet, you can't be sweet at all the time, at all the places, under all the conditions. Then how come I don't know? Well, that's how the problem is. That's how the problem is that the human mind is fixed, and therefore you don't know it. Really? So this is how the Shastra also says, if you are seeking this security, peace and happiness all the time, all the places, under all conditions, then definitely you are seeking yourself. These three things are available with you. They are just centered on you, but you do not know. And not only that, it's not available outside. They are just nature of you only. Otherwise, if you search them outside, it will not be available. It will elude you. They will elude you or evade you. Like, you take a soup, a hot soup in which some noodles are added. Now, you start taking the soup part, that is all right. You are seeing a noodles in the soup and you want to lift with the spoon. They are there, right there, and you want to taste them. Once you take in the spoon, when it's in the soup, the spoon is in the soup, no problem. If you just take it out, this noodles won't come. Only soup part will come. So they evade you all the time. So like that, the security, peace and happiness are like noodles. And the object is like a soup. If you try to search there, they will always evade you. They are just a nature of yourself. So the fundamental human problem is a misplaced search. This is the thing we say. Then the question is, why do human beings commit such a mistake of a misplaced search? So he says these three things are actually available, centered on the self, but they are hidden. That's how you search it somewhere else. And they are hidden has been told even in the Upanishad also. Yatha kshetrajnaha hiranyanidim upari sancharantaha api na vindeyuhu. Yatha kshetrajnaha, the people who are in, like farmers, etc. In that farm itself, underneath, the lot of treasure is there. Upari sancharantah. They are moving just on the land, and they never know that the treasure they have inside. Anyway, so this is how this is a treasure, the security, peace and happiness which they are searching throughout. It's just centered on the self. They are the nature of the self, but they don't know. And that is how they search it outside. So scriptures point out that there are 3 layers. Remove those layers of covering. They are just covered. Remove the layers of covering, and then you find that this treasure is just nothing but yourself. That's how the process is called discovery. Discovering as much as dizzing the cover, removing the cover, and that is that's my nature. Now, next question is, what are the layers that cover this, the nature of Atma, the treasure? So we say, so that I can handle properly, I want to know. Like, the metal ore, you might have seen. When they take it out and before they get a pure metal, it has to pass through lots of process in which they have to remove the impurity. First is a gross impurity, they remove it with one process. Then metal itself, they separate, but still it has an impurity. Then the another process. And the final purification with the electrolysis or something they do, in which even the finest impurity also will go away. Same way here also, this nature of self has been covered, the treasure has been covered with the layers, and you want to remove the layers. Then you should know what kind of layers they are, so that accordingly I can work upon that. Accordingly I can use the instrument. Sadhanam means in order to remove them. So scriptures point out that there are 3 layers covering the treasure of this security, peace and happiness. That's the nature of oneself. And in that there is one layer or impurity is the grossest one. The second one is little subtler, and the third one is the subtlest. So the grossest impurity or a layer is malam, they call. Malam means such impurity. And the second one is a vikshepaha. And the third one is called avaranam or ajnanam. The first one is called malam, and this impurity refers to varieties of mental problems. I mean, emotional problems, basically. And they are 6-fold. These obstacles are 6-fold, or the impurities are 6-fold. And they are kamaha, krodaha, lobaha, mohaha, madaha, matsarya. Kamaha, it's a lust. Krodaha is an anger. Lobaha is a greed. Mohaha is a delusion. Madaha means an arrogance or pride, and matsarya means a jealousy. So madaha, pride, sometimes a person has a certain qualities, or person has certain wealth he has acquired. Out of that he feels that the others are not as lucky as he is. That brings a pride in the person. So this is the first layer which has to be removed. The sadhanam up to removing will be later, but this has been told. The second one is a vikshepaha. Vikshepaha is nothing but a restlessness, mental restlessness, basically not physical restlessness, mental restlessness or extrovertedness. That is called vikshepaha. So like, suppose somebody is, like let's say the water in a reservoir. If you want to see the bottom of it, you can't see if there is a lot of turbulence in the water, or if it is muddied, then also you can't see. So if you want to see the bottom, definitely you will have to bring this turbulence to a halt. So same way, this vikshepa is something which is called a mental turbulence or extrovertedness or restlessness, also is a problem. In order to, so if one wants to see the nature of self, which is a treasure, then this is a problem against that, obstacle against that. Then the third thing is avaranam, is ignorance. I am ignorant of the fact that I am the very source of these 3. Source of the happiness is myself, source of peace is myself, or source of security is myself. Well, I don't know it. So this is also considered as a obstacle, impurity. It is called avaranam. And the meaning is just ignorance, it is. So remove these 3 layers with appropriate sadhanam. That's how we should know what kind of impurities are there. Accordingly, we can work upon. So these 3 layers are removed by 3 kinds of sadhanam. And this sadhanam is called means. And here sadhanam means a spiritual discipline basically. And each discipline is called yoga. In as much as this yoga means which unites a seeker with what he is seeking, right? He is seeking security. He is seeking happiness. He is seeking shanti, peace. So these 3 sadhanams are there, spiritual disciplines are there, which removes 3 kinds of obstacles and brings the seeker to what he is seeking. So seeker sought division as such through the layers has been resolved, will be resolved. So that is called yoga, yuj dhatu. Yuj dhatu has a meaning to join. So this from there, this particular discipline is called yoga, which unites, joins these 3 things. Like a treasure hunter is united with the treasure through a particular kind of a sadhanam or means. And that is called yoga. So 3 types of sadhanams are there. Each one is called yoga. And the first one is a karma yoga. Karma yoga means it removes the first layer of obstacles called malam, which we have seen. Malam is nothing but the 6-fold enemies, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. If that's the grossest one we consider, and which one experiences also often. And therefore they are considered grossest, and they are removed with the help of karma yoga. Then the second kind of an impurity or obstacle in gaining this treasure is upasana yoga, which removes the vikshepa, the restlessness of a mind, extrovertedness of a mind, or turbulence of a mind. And the third thing is jnana yoga, which removes the avaranam or ajnanam, and by giving the knowledge. So jnana yoga gives knowledge, and by giving knowledge, the seeker is united with the sought. That sought is nothing but the happiness, the goal. 3 types of goal we have seen. The seeker is united with their goal. So these 3 yogas are there. They do not bring anything new, in fact, but they, just connects me to my own treasure. That's all it means. Like, the person, suppose an old person, he just passes away without making a proper will. He has a lot of wealth, and he has children also. Generally, children are considered as, legally, they can claim this property. But since this person has created an obstacle, not writing properly in the will, etc., so to claim their own property or wealth for the sons have to pass through a very big legal procedure. So this is how it is. So our own wealth we want, but to claim our own wealth, we have to pass through these 3 disciplines, because 3 obstacles are there. 3 kinds of obstacles are there. And the first one I will talk about is a karma yoga. Actually, karma yoga has 2 words. One is karma and the second is yoga. Karma means a proper actions, and yoga means a proper attitude. That's all. So karma yoga is basically a lifestyle with a proper actions and proper attitudes. Proper actions are generally considered as a sattvic karmas, which has been described in the Veda itself. That these Panchamaha Yajnas, etc., which has been told in a Taittiriya Aranyaka, they are considered as a sattvic karmas. And those actions has to be done. In general, if you ask me, proper action means which you are supposed to do in a given situation. Every situation asks from you a certain response. And if you respond in a proper way, then it becomes a proper action. Like we are sitting here right now, and after this class may be over, perhaps you and me are required to respond in a given setup in a proper way. Then it is considered as a karma yoga. So karma yoga means karma means a proper action, generally called sattvic karmas, and yoga means a proper attitude. Proper attitude behind action and proper attitude behind result of an action. And they are generally of 4 kinds. This proper attitude is of 4 kinds. The first one is acceptance. Acceptance of a result of an action. Sometimes because they are just, opposite to what you expected and all that. Then there is a way to assimilate that situation which is really working against you, but still how you can accept this situation. So acceptance is a proper attitude. The first one, this is a part of karma yoga. The second one is a non-comparison. Comparison generally brings a lot of agony in us. So now how can I not compare myself with others? In a given situation, he gets more advantage and I'm not getting. Like this also is a result of an action. So non-comparison also is considered as a proper attitude. The third one is a humility. Sometimes it happens that when you do a lot of noble actions, it creates a certain ego in a person. That I am the one who is doing noble actions. People they don't have a value of it, and you look down upon others. So it's very good that you are doing a noble action, helping others, reaching out, etc. Everything, that's good. But it also brings a certain kind of a pride in a person. It's not that, it's a humility. I mean, the God has given me an opportunity for this and therefore I am doing, otherwise I would not be able to, etc. Is also an attitude. It's an attitude towards a situation. An attitude towards a karma also, because you are doing noble actions, but with this attitude you do. So this is how a humility also is considered under a karma yoga. The fourth one is a devotion. That's what we generally take into Bhagavad Gita, that Ishwararpan Buddhi, etc. Is there. I mean, you offer your actions to God, and God means the God who has manifested in form of all these names and forms. So if you are working for some person, like a husband is doing something for a wife, or wife is doing something for the husband, in mind that he or she has, that this is also one form which has manifested, the Lord has manifested in this form, and therefore with this attitude he does. And the result of action definitely, as Pujya Swamiji explains, is prasad buddhi, etc. There also there is a devotion of towards Ishvara. Without Ishvara bringing into the picture, there is no karma yoga. So far as karma yoga is concerned, other things are there. It's a pragmatic approach. Acceptance, etc., or humility or non-comparison is just a pragmatic approach. But that's not really a karma yoga. Karma yoga really is when you bring Ishvara into life. So far as you connect karma also through to the Ishvara, and you connect even result of action also, karma phala also, to the Ishvara. And therefore, then only with the attitude of devotion, that becomes karma yoga. So karma yoga as such is a 4 in which karma has all sattvic karmas, panch mahayagnas are there, and in terms of yoga, the attitude, this attitude also is considered proper. And this, what will it does? It will remove this 6-fold Ch2s. I mean, this basically raga dvesha, likes and dislikes. This 6-fold we are telling, but they are the manifestation of the 2. Basically, manifestation of our likes and dislikes are only kama, krodha, lobha, moha, etc. So basically, it neutralizes these 2 Ch2s called raga dveshas, because when you are supposed to do you do something which you are supposed to do, you don't go by your like, right? You don't go by your like and dislike. I like, so I do, won't be there. I'm supposed to do, therefore I do. So sometimes you have to sacrifice your like or dislike. And generally it happens so that what I like, I don't like to do. What I like to do, I'm not supposed to do. What I don't like to do, generally I'm supposed to do. And starting from getting up in the morning for meditation. If you want to get up at 4 o'clock, you will find this thing very much there. You put an alarm and then it rings also, and then you just shut it off, right? You know that you are a seeker of, and you are in ashram and you have to get up and you should pray, etc. Everything is there. Yeah, you should get up. That's it. But then, so I'm supposed to get up. That's one thing. What I like to do, I don't like to get up. So generally, what I am supposed to do, I don't like. What I am not supposed to do, I like. Even in eating also. Everywhere it is like that. So likes and dislikes are the biggest obstacles. So we definitely nourish this, these shatrus, these enemies, we nourish by giving support to this ragadvesha only. And therefore you take into account just what you are supposed to do. You do what you are not supposed to do, you don't do. That brings initial conflict, but afterwards it will bring a harmony in life. And therefore the Karma Yoga neutralizes our likes and dislikes. You are going by a universal structure called dharma and not going by a personal value structure called likes and dislikes. There is a universal structure, universal value structure. Well, it is universal in as much as it is present in everyone. It is present in everyone. What is right, what is wrong, everyone knows. And so I try to conform through my actions what is right and what is wrong. What is right, I will do. Not what I like, I will do. So then definitely you will have to sacrifice your own likes and dislikes. And that's how they get neutralized in the Karma Yoga. Well, this is the first sadhana, which will remove the grossest impurity, so-called grossest impurity, and of malam. Second is a Upasana Yoga, in which there are varieties of the meditations. Basically, Upasana Yoga is a mental discipline. And mental discipline is required in as much as because we waste a lot of our energy, mental energy. So the person, the river, a lot of water is just flowing and getting wasted away, going to the sea. They put a dam. So by constructing a dam, they definitely, obstruct the flow. But at the same time, then they want to utilize for constructive purpose, for agriculture, etc. Same way, our mental energy are also get dissipated in varieties of the ways, and then it is not available for spiritual pursuit. So we try to create, we are trying to obstruct, bringing them together from different senses, and then through the meditation we channelize for a spiritual pursuit. And meditations generally are helpful for this vikshepa nivrutti, the expansion of the mind. It's a very beautiful thing, expansion meditation they call, in which you try to visualize the phenomena at the universal, at the level of the universe. Very, very big phenomena are occurring. What happens is that whatever happening in my life is considered very, very big. At the level of ego, whatever I face, I feel that is nothing like that. Whatever I am facing, Swamiji, then you won't, they tell me also, you will never face this. I am facing such situation. So that ego is so small. But then he feels that he only has all the problems. And Lord is also behind him only. And then you look into, in the meditation, when you look into the different phenomena occurring in the universe, so big, so magnanimous, then, with this attitude, you as though expand your mind. And when the mind is expanded, your problems in your life appears very, 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 very insignificant. It takes time, but it happens that way. So expansion meditation is there, relaxation meditation, of course, is there. Then value meditation to refine the mind, definitely, because there are certain negative things in our mind. In order to remove them, the value meditation, moral values, I'm saying, is very good. And the fourth one is a concentration meditation. For that, generally, you do a mental puja, mental worships. Any mental worship can bring this concentration, any kind of a thing. Out of these 16 upacharas, we have in the puja, you can take any single upachara and do it elaborately in mind, well, that brings a concentration, because the object is Ishvara and you do varieties of the, upacharas to him. So these 4 kinds of meditations are there which will bring a mental discipline, or let us say it will make you free from this turbulence of the mind, etc. So Upasana Yoga helps for Vikshepa Nivrutti. Karma Yoga helps for Mala Nivrutti. The third one is a Jnana Yoga. It consists of in nothing but an inquiry into the real nature. How can I am secure? How can I am happiness? Or how can I am a peace? So that's an inquiry. Definitely it's an inquiry. It's not an experience. It is not a question of an experience. It's an inquiry. And to inquire into that thing, you will go through the 3 stages. Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Shravanam is not just listening. You arrive at the purport of the scriptures. The purport of the scripture is nothing but Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. The identity between the individual and Ishvara, or identity between me and the maker, identity between me and the world, whatever you say. If that identity is understood in the process of this Shravanam. And then Manam, of course, removes certain doubts. There will be doubts. If the doubts are not there, that itself is very, very surprising. If you start thinking over, you will get doubts. And if you don't have doubts, Acharyas, I told you in the morning, Acharyas definitely, they are behind it, that you should be more and more doubtful. And then they remove it also. And Brahma Sutra is just amazing thing. Brahma Sutra is a just amazing thing. It's is based on a Nyaya, and there the doubts are so, which we have never thought of. Those doubts have been brought out by Vyasacharya ji by making sutras, etc. And Shankaracharya ji also adds into that, and ultimately, and then they neutralize all the doubts. So Mananam Mananam is for Samshaya Nivrutti. And then Nididhyasanam definitely, because there is a Viparyaya. What's the conclusion of a Shastra about the self? And what's the conclusion, what's the judgment about me is just opposite. I say this body is myself. I'm a human being. Well, Shastra says you are not a human being. I say I am a jiva. He says no, you are not a jiva. Shastra says you do not have taken any birth. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha, etc., etc. You have never born. You were never born. You are not born. You will not be born at all. No, I have taken several births, etc. Just opposite. So, and if they are opposite, Swamiji, it should go, because we have done Shravanam and Mananam. So we have listened to the scriptures and know the purport of it. Now no more doubts also, then it should go no. Because since infinite, beginningless time, we have this notion that I am the body. So it will take time. Any habit takes time to go. Any habit. If it is very old habit, it will definitely take time. If it is a fresh habit, still it takes time, but will be less. So this is a habit. It's a habit of formation, of taking body, etc., to take as a self. So it will take time. Even though in your intellect there is a clarity that I am a Sachidananda, but it all the time brings this other notion that I am a body, etc. So this Nididhyasanam also helps a person in order to remove this viparita bhavana. And so if person goes through these 3 sadhanams, then the 3 layers, as I told you, mala, vikshepa and avarana, are removed. And basically, in order to remove these 3 layers, 3 sadhanas have been described in the Veda itself. So our scriptures basically guide us for that. And Vedas are revelation of basically Ishvara through the rishis. Ishvara is a transmitting center, basically, and rishis are a receiving center. And there is a very good, between them, there is a tandem. They work in very harmony. Newton has seen a law. What everyone was seeing, either it's falling. Fruit is falling, everyone is seeing. But he has seen a law. Same way, rishis also have seen these mantras, and they have brought out, and the particular, the Vedas actually have 4 portions. You see, each rishi has brought out a certain recension, basically. And when they have, they've seen the mantras, when they brought out these mantras, the mantras have been divided into 4 portions. First is the mantra bhaga. It's called samhita also. And in that, always in this portion, they deal with a prayer. Prayer, they call generally suktam. Suktam means sushtu uktam. Uktam means said. Sushtu means very well said. So about a particular devata, like Agni Suktam. Agni Suktam means very well said something about Agni. That's a praise. It's a prayer in form of a praise. Prayer is nothing but a praise of the devata. And that helps. How does it help? This mantra bhaga in which these suktams are there. So because of that, I will be able to diagnose the problem. Right? There is a misplaced search, and therefore I continue to search somewhere else all the time. But this prayerful attitude will help me to diagnose the problem, and then I will come to a proper place for searching. So that's how the mantra bhaga helps a person in order to gain the grace of a Lord, who is nothing but in the form of devatas. So if you worship devata is one thing. If you worship Ishvara in a form of a devata is another thing. That's what Bhagavan said even in the Bhagavad Gita also. If you worship devata, which are limited, you get a limited result. But if you worship, considering particular devata as a manifestation of a Lord, a particular name and form, even Ishvara is associated with a particular name and form, he is called a devata. That's all it is. And therefore, you are really worshipping Ishvara. But in this particular name and form which you have chosen, it's a chosen deity, Ishta Devata. Well, you can worship in any form because all the forms are his forms only, and then his or her. Again, because it's a problem, his or her. So let's say his or her, whatever it may be. So you worship in that form. And so you gain a grace. Grace means you diagnose the problem. That's a big thing, which I'm going to talk about in this, because Arjuna has discovered the problem first. Then there is a question of a surrender, etc. First to discover the problem. So diagnose the situation. So the same way here also mantra bhaga helps a person when you praise and you pray to the Ishvara in a form of a devata, definitely you gain a grace, and therefore you will be able to diagnose the problem. Otherwise, if you keep on searching, like going to a cloth shop and searching for a shoe, like that, the situation is like that. And it happens so, janma after janma, birth after birth, person keeps searching. In fact, I am born itself indicates that I have not searched properly in the last janma. Therefore, I am born. Bhagavan has given me another body to me. Same way, if I continue, I can continue like that. So the search would never, it's an endless search, Therefore, if with the help of grace, you can come to a proper place so that your search will be over. So mantra bhaga does this job. And the second part is a brahmana bhaga. Generally, brahmana portion in Veda is a karma. Lots of karmas have been described, and those karmas with a particular attitude definitely becomes karma yoga. So karma yoga, and definitely it will remove our mala nivritti. For that it is good. And they call it generally as a kanda, karma kanda. So kanda means a portion. Karma kanda means a portion in which lots of predominance of karmas will be there. And the third one is a aranyaka. Aranyaka means related to aranya or a forest. So basically upasana is aranyaka portion has a upasana. Many upasanas have been described there. What I am telling you, please don't consider these are the watertight compartments in the Veda. They are not. Honestly, I am telling you, they are not. So even in a single recension of any Veda, if you see, you won't find this kind of, the first chapter, Mantra Bhagaha, second chapter, nothing. There are mantras and mantras and mantras and mantras. But you know, this people who are devoted to this Karma Kanda, they have evolved a certain methods by which they discover this mantra, this particular mantra should be connected to this yaga, this mantra is for this portion, this mantra is for this purpose, etc., etc. Otherwise, they are just mantras only, in a series of mantras, nothing else. There are no chapters or something like that. Anyway, so this is Aranyaka, means it deals with Upasana Yoga, which helps for Vikshepa Nivritti. What I am saying is, wherever these means are available, for Mala, Vikshepa and Avarana Nivritti, where are the means available? So it is then available in the Veda itself. And the fourth is our Upanishad. And Upanishad means it should be at the end of the Veda, called Vedanta, but it is never at the end. You will find in a Aranyaka portion also, you find in a Brahmana portion also, you find in a mantra portion also. Ishavasya Upanishad appears in the mantra portion, in the Shukla Yajurveda. Anyway, this is how it is. Anyway, but this is Upanishad is a very, very small portion compared to those huge things. Vedas are very voluminous. They say like that you know, approximate 1 lakh mantras are there, then 80,000 mantras pertaining to karma and 16,000 mantras for upasanas and 4,000 mantras for, the Jnana Kanda, for Upanishad, etc. Anyway, it's a very voluminous. And so even to remove these impurities, we will not go to Veda. They are inaccessible as such. What to do? So Lord Krishna basically gave us a condensed version of the Veda consisting of all the 3 yogas, called Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga and Jnana Yoga, and that is called Bhagavad Gita. So the Bhagavad Gita has all these 3 things, and that's how it is considered as a Veda Saraha. It's an essence of the Veda as such. Now Gita is a very small work, relatively small, consisting of 700 verses, and it occurs in the Mahabharata in the form of a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. So if you learn Bhagavad Gita as if you have learned the Veda, because the subject matter of the Veda has been established in this Bhagavad Gita. So all our traditional acharyas basically, they point out that if you are not even, you may not be able to learn the Vedas or even all the Upanishads also, but if you can't study them, no problem. But at least study Bhagavad Gita. That has been told in Bhajagovindam itself. Bhagavad Gita kinchidadita Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita Sakrudapi Yena Murari Charcha Kriyate Tasye Amenana Charcha, etc. So Bhagavad Gita kinchidadita. So even Shankaracharya ji has mentioned the name of a Bhagavad Gita for a study. So if we study Bhagavad Gita, we have studied entire Veda. We know entire Veda, we can tell. Like, if you can't chant your recension of the Veda, you can chant Gayatri. That's all they tell. Because Gayatri is considered as an essence of a Veda, 3 Vedas. Because the Atharva Veda, Gayatri is a bit different. So there we do discrimination. Out of 4 Vedas, we 3 take on the one side and the 1 on the other side. Because Atharva Veda, Devatas are very, very typical. Karmas are also difficult. Shatru, Marana, etc. also is there. How to kill an enemy and all that. Also, those kind of karmas are also there. So somehow we keep it little away. But other 3 Vedas and our Gayatri mantra is considered the essence of these 3 Vedas. So if they say Swadhyaya Detavyaha, you should always recite your own branch of Veda. That's even Taittiriya Upanishad also said, Ritancha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, Satyancha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, etc. So Swadhyaya and Pravachana of the Veda has to be done with everything, with all other disciplines. Religious disciplines, these 2 should not be given up. That's how they have repeated in all the sentences. But then what to do? It's all inaccessible. Okay, do Gayatri. That's how they say. But Swamiji, we can't do Gayatri. The Shrauta Gayatri we can't do. Then there is for ladies, there is a Smartha Gayatri also. Because generally Gayatri goes with the Upanayanam, etc. Anyway, so this is just by the way. So, study of the Bhagavad Gita itself is sufficient. And Bhagavad Gita has got several commentaries, basically, in different languages also. Shankaracharya himself wrote a very good commentary called Bhashyam. And one other Acharya called Madhusudan Saraswati has written a very beautiful commentary. That's called Gudhartha Deepika. And that Madhusudan Saraswati has, before writing that commentary on Bhagavad Gita, he has written 9 verses for prayer, in which he offers a prayer to Mahabharata message because Bhagavad Gita appears there. He offers prayer to Bhagavad Gita itself. He offers prayer to Lord Krishna, like that. So those 9 verses are there, and that is before this Gudhartha Deepika commentary Madhusudan Saraswati has written. And I feel before we enter into Bhagavad Gita, we should just once recite those 9 verses. I think in your this booklet, page number 59. It seems one page is missing in that, perhaps 1, 2, and then 1, 2, and then directly 6. So anyway, whatever shlokas are there, which are called dhyana shlokas, so we'll chant. I will chant first and then you repeat it. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena SwM Vyasena Krathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaadhyayiniim Ambatvāmanusandadhāmi Bhagavad Gīte Bhavadveshiniim Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Phullāravindāyata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Tailapurnaha Prajvalito Jnanamayah Pradipaha Bhishmadrona Jayadratha Gandharanilotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashvathama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Khalu Pandavai Rananadi Kaivartakah Keshavaha Parasharya Vachas Saroja Mamalam Gitartha Gandhotkatam नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरहः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे नारायणं पद्मभुवं what is it? नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च What's that tune? नारायणं पद्मभुवं यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमो anyway नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यम् Now I will try to get the tune. I forgot the tune actually. Narayanam Padmabhum Vasishtham Shaktin च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यानस्मद्गुरुन् सन्तदा No, that's also fine. Narayanam Padmabhuvam Vasishtham Shaktin cha Tatputra Parasharan cha. Okay, we'll see tomorrow. And other verses also are there. We'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha